and you're good to go.
Just need the, there we go.
Yeah.
So a little bit about BBB of upstate New York for anyone who isn't familiar with us. BBB was formed in 1912 to fight against false advertising, and BBB of upstate New York, we're located in Buffalo, was founded in 1923. So we just celebrated our 100th anniversary last year, and in doing so, we had the opportunity to dig through the archives. So we found a few of these old advertisements, which I included as part of the presentation. We currently serve 48 counties across upstate New York and have a network of over 7,000 accredited businesses. So our network is very wide. It goes from here all the way down to Albany, basically everything but the New York City area. All right, so the topic we're all here for today, the importance of cybersecurity. Today's cyber criminals pose more significant threats to the economy than ever before, and new safeguards are needed in order to protect businesses, both small and large. We know this is the case, especially since pretty much everybody relies on technology today in some way, shape, or form. And this is also a timely topic as we are in the middle of Data Privacy Week. Businesses are better able to manage cyber attacks and learn from industry best practices by exploring the real and perceived risks of cyber attacks, offering education and awareness. Cybersecurity is a complex topic for the business community, as we know, and building public trust in businesses' cybersecurity standards. So letting your customers know that you're taking steps to safeguard their information is very important. Some basic cybersecurity terms, you may already be familiar with these, but we'll go through them anyway. Malware, which is a software that is typically designed to disrupt, damage, or gain unauthorized access to a computer system. Ransomware, a type of malicious software designed to block access to a computer system until a sum of money is paid. Phishing, a cyber attack where someone poses as a legitimate company to mislead the recipient into giving personal information. For example, via email, you might see these come through, and they do look very similar to legitimate emails. Scammers are very good at manipulating logos and making it seem like it's a legitimate source. So just very, very important to keep an eye out for those and tell your employees to keep an eye out for those as well. Phishing. Phishers use fraudulent phone numbers, voice-altering software, text messages, and social engineering to trick users into divulging sensitive information. One thing that isn't on this slide but should be is smishing, which is basically just the same thing but via text message or SMS. And lastly, business email compromise, which is a type of cybercrime where the scammer uses email to trick someone into sending money or divulging confidential company information. And here I'm going to turn it over to Brett, who's going to talk about some of the top 10 scams that are targeting businesses.
Perfect. Thank you, Kat. So one of the things that I'm appreciative of this list is that a lot of them that are on here are big things that we see from our scam tracker program, something that Kat will talk about a bit later. And the types of scams that are on here are things that we're seeing on a daily, a weekly, a monthly basis that are individuals reporting information to us. So they're definitely, when you say it's a top 10 list, it is definitely a top 10 list in regards to what we're seeing. The first one that's on here is a business email compromise, which is also known as BEC. This is basically when some sort of crime occurs where a scammer uses an email address to trick someone basically into sending money or divulging company info. A common thing that will occur here is that a hacker will hack into someone's email using a web address that's basically been defined as malware or whatnot. And what ends up happening is that hacker will go in and steal their contact list and start sending out emails to everyone on their contact list. So it's an easy way for them to get in and then have information of other people's emails in the company that they can reach out to and try to scam further into the operation. Phony invoices is something that we do see on occasion. A business might send an invoice to an organization saying that they purchased 2 products and the total cost is this. A lot of businesses have policies that are in place that if it's a certain value, for example, like under $1,000, then one person is the person that signs off on it. Other businesses will have a requirement where multiple people sign off on it. We certainly recommend that multiple people are looking at different invoices to make sure that invoices are original. We do see a lot of times where businesses will just go ahead and pay an invoice without really doing the research on it because they just assume that someone at their organization had ordered that particular product. And so that is one of the biggest reasons why we do see phony invoices that do come in. Directory scams are somewhat common, where an individual or a business, basically a con artist, will convince you to sign up for listing or an ad space in a particular directory. Whether that directory exists or not, you might be able to view it online, but that individual, that con artist, will most likely not send that information as they promised or that we originally would have done. Stolen identity, if scammers can often pretend to be a legitimate corporation or company to really trick consumers. A lot of times they'll set up like a fake website and hijack your computer name and address. A lot of times what you'll see is instead of using like a capital I, they might use a lowercase l. And depending on the font, they look very similar. And that's an easy way for them to kind of break in and steal information because they've changed one letter of your particular website, created their own website, and they're using that basically to hack you and to get money off you and basically steal your identity. The fifth one is charity pitches. A lot of times you'll see businesses that are asked to donate funds to particular charities. A lot of these charities are, of course, legitimate, but just to make sure that you're doing your due diligence, that you're looking through your records to make sure that a charity is legit before you choose to donate money to that particular charity or nonprofit. Phishing scams, an individual will attempt to steal sensitive information about your business. A lot of times they appear to be, legitimate emails or text messages. I know one of the common ones that I get at least once a week, Kat, I'm sure you're the same way, is I'm basically notified by a shipping organization that says that my package can no longer be delivered and click on this link address to get more information about it. That would be an example of phishing that does occur all the time. Office supply scams, individuals will call in with a surplus number of product or merchandise at a reduced price. For example, they might cite a cancellation or an over order from a previous order or another purchaser, realistically just trying to get you to spend more money on a product that may never end up arriving in regards to office supplies. Coupon books is starting to become a bit more popular. Businesses are often approached to participate in different coupon book promotions, partnering up with other restaurants, other businesses, other organizations. The challenges really occur basically if the promoters really change the terms of the service, if the coupons don't expire when they say they're going to, or they expire sooner than they're going to, and if they distribute them outside the company's normal business area. A lot of times what will happen is they won't actually even notify the business that they're offering coupons from or for. And then when you call or you try to go to that particular business, said coupons don't work because they've never heard of those coupons working in the first place. In regards to vanity scams, you might have an individual call or text or email saying that your organization has won a particular award. My recommendation is that if you ever win anything as an organization, do your due diligence and check to make sure that the first off, the award actually exists and that the organization is not requiring you to pay for it to become basically a member of that award or to have that award shipped to you. Those are generally red flags when it comes to a vanity scam. The last one is an overpayment scam. What will end up happening is that an individual will send you a check for a certain amount of money that is far above what's necessary for the particular product or service that you're offered. And then they request that you send a portion of it back. So you basically put it in your bank and then you send a portion of it back. What ends up happening is that the check will bounce. And then you're stuck mostly with the responsibility of the full amount plus whatever you've sent to that particular organization. So it's an easy way for them to get in, utilize your checking account basically, and have you basically bounce a check on their behalf, which is unfortunate. In regards to cybersecurity practices, this is something that we work a lot with at Better Business Bureau in upstate New York. One of the first things that we'd like to recommend is having some sort of training program for cybersecurity. One of the things that we do at our organization is that we have a monthly email that goes out that says that we have a training session that's ready to view. The training session is generally a 3-minute video followed by a 2-minute quiz. The quiz is like 5 questions. It's a great way for us to kind of brush up on our skills for the different things that are happening. In fact, the last 10 things that I mentioned in regards to the types of scams have all been within the last 12 to 18 months. So we do see these things pop up, and it's always great to have a refresher. So anytime you have the opportunity for your organization to have some sort of training program, our program is less than 5 minutes a month. So it's not going to be time consuming. It's very easy and accessible to individuals, and it's an easy way to kind of move forward with it, just to make sure that you're protected under all causes. One of the things that we recommend as well is having role-based access control, spreading out different levels of access to different employees, making sure that employees who need specific access have that access, and that others who don't particularly need certain access, that they don't have that access. And so really developing a plan just to make sure that you know who has access to what software, what programs, and what levels of opportunities, just to make sure that it's spread out evenly and appropriately based on that particular type of employee. We also recommend having a remote backup or some sort of data recovery. If your system or your server gets hacked and everything gets wiped, having a backup basically just prevents you from having to start from scratch, which is devastating for any business to have to start basically right back from the beginning. So having an extra copy of your data offsite in a secure location really will protect you in case something goes wrong with your particular system. If you have the opportunity to have multi-factor authorization, you might recognize this as using your fingerprint on your particular phone, or different face scans, or entering a separate password. I know when I log into my account, I get a message from Google that basically says, now you have to enter in the 6-digit code to actually access your account. So that is what's known as a multi-factor organization. So we definitely recommend having that as available. If you have the opportunity to do so, just taking your security one step further based upon your particular needs. And then finally, securing your Wi-Fi networks, making sure that your Wi-Fi accounts and your passwords are secure. Please do not have your Wi-Fi password be password. Please do not have it be obvious. Make sure that you're basically creating a long and very complicated password to make sure that your system is going to be secure. Your system is not going to be secure if you're using a first name or a last name, if you're using a pet's name, if you're using a birthday. Those are not secure Wi-Fi passwords. So just make sure that you're using something that is completely random, something that you can either recognize or write down, so it secures your system more than it currently could be at that particular instance. In regards to data privacy, this is big for us. We do want to make sure that you're sharing with care. If you share information on any social media site, you are giving away that information. That is exactly what you're doing. If you post something on Facebook, Instagram, or any of the other sites, that is their information. If someone decides to take a picture of it, download it, there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. So the moment you post it, consider it basically active for every single person that has access to it. Even if you delete it, does not mean that it goes away, because someone could have taken that picture, they could have downloaded it, they could have shared it. So make sure that you're sharing information with care in regards to social media or other sites that you're looking for and working with. We always recommend that you're looking through your privacy settings. Every single website has privacy settings to go through to make sure that you're sharing what you want to, and that you're not sharing what you want to or you don't want to. So checking those privacy and security settings on web services, apps, and set them for the comfort level that you have for yourself and for your organization. Your personal information is basically like money. Value it, protect it. Work with your organization to make sure that everything is protected. Make informed decisions about whether or not to share data with certain businesses by collecting certain amounts of personal information they're asking for, and kind of weighing it against the benefits that you may receive in return. So just making sure that you are protected, that your organization is protected, and that you're not doing anything that could inhibit basically those particular protections that are in place. And then finally, and before I turn it back over to Kat, one of the things about passwords is you have to think basically your password as a wall. Your password is the one thing that's preventing individuals from getting in. It should be considered a wall for your access to personal information in the world. The stronger the password, the stronger the walls. All of the passwords that we're required to do, and I simply do for my personal life as well, is my passwords are extremely long. I don't like it. I hate typing it out every single time that we have to, but it does keep me safe and making sure that it's not an easy password or something that someone could be guessed by an individual. If you have security questions, one of the things that I personally recommend for security questions is not answering the questions with the correct answer. If the question basically says, what is the name of your first pet? And you type in the name of your first pet, anyone else who knows that particular question can answer that on your behalf. So I personally use random statements or words for security questions to make sure that no one can guess what my security questions are going to be. And that's something that has just kept me safe. I'll write them down in a secure location. It's something that I remember to go back into if necessary. It's a little bit more time consuming than, say, giving the easy answer, but it provides an opportunity to make sure that I know that I am personally secure and that no one's going to guess my particular security questions. If you have the opportunity for multi-factor authorization, obviously do so. Fingerprint, face recognition, or just getting a text message from the organization. And also consider getting a password manager. There are plenty that are available online that you could use where you could sign in, put in different passwords from different organizations, keep them secure and in a locked spot. And if there's one thing I'd recommend about that, just make sure that the password for that password manager is the most secure password that you have. That way it keeps everyone locked out of your passwords and everything that's available for you. So Kat, I will turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Brett. Yeah, like you said, I know it becomes frustrating because we use so many different platforms and softwares now. But you really just want to make sure that you do have different passwords to each one, because if a scammer or cyber criminal gets a hold of the password for one thing, they're going to try it on other platforms. So it's important to just make sure you select different ones and try to keep them as long and strong as you possibly can.
Right.
But, and again, thank you, Brett. Next slide, about updating software to help prevent ransomware, some things you can do. Don't click on links from unfamiliar sources. Even if you think you know the sender, be cautious about clicking on email links. When in doubt, delete it. Like I said, scammers are very good at tripping people up and tricking you. They'll look like they're from a legitimate organization, but usually the spelling will be off slightly. So just take a close look for any grammatical errors or logos that don't look exactly right. Stay up to date with your software, and you can obviously prevent infections by updating critical software as soon as patches are available. Again, use strong authentication, requiring more than just a username and password to access accounts. I know, like with Gmail, when I log in every day, I have to go enter a code that's sent to my phone. And sometimes it's a little aggravating when you're just trying to log on, but you have to remember how important it is for your own personal security. Conduct regular backups of systems. Systems can be restored in cases of ransomware, and having current backup of all data speeds the recovery process. So just knowing that you do have a place to recover all of that is huge. Make better passwords. We went over that. And enable pop-up blockers. Pop-ups are regularly used by scammers to spread malware. They want you to click on what they're sending you. You can prevent those from appearing in the first place by adjusting your browser settings. All right, our final slide with some resources. So, obviously BBB, bbb.org/cybersecurity, the Department of Homeland Security, InfraGard, the Internet Crime Complaint Center, and the U.S. Small Business Administration. Earlier this week, I had the opportunity to give this presentation at the Empire State Cyber Fraud Task Force, and one thing they told me was actually pretty shocking. They said a very small percentage of businesses report cyber crimes when they are attacked. And that's something that's really important, because you do want to try to stop these people and give law enforcement an opportunity to stop them if they can. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. And with anything, we'd encourage you to use bbb.org as a resource. We have tons of tips on different topics, and definitely take advantage of our scam tracker. First, if you unfortunately fall victim to a scam, you can report it to us. It's free. That's bbb.org/scam tracker. And you can take a look at what scams are happening throughout your area at any given time. Brett is part of the team that updates our scam tracker, and he's in there daily. So we really try to get those updated as quickly as possible and out to the public. So, with all of that, I know it's a lot of information. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to try to answer them now. All right. Well, without questions, thank you for joining us. And if you didn't get a chance to catch the entire presentation, we will be sharing this on bbb.org. But thank you, and have a great afternoon, everyone.